This is Dr. Mario Wallace, and welcome to my 3-minute lecture on trait leadership theory. Trait leadership theory was established around 1840s, pre-Civil War, by Dr. Thomas Carlyle under the guise of or name of the great man theory, which considered that the world was a biography of great men. Trait leadership theory explored great men such as Napoleon and Alexander the Great. And during this time, Dr. Carlyle believed that trait leadership it was an inherent characteristic. It wasn't a learned skill or a learned behavior. It was strictly a inherent characteristics. And at the time, when he considered trait leadership, he thought of white men and no other race aligned to this concept. So the best men were white men, and they inherited some type of trait that made them great and outstanding. In the 1930s, there was an insurgency of leadership theory where Dr. Ralph Stogdill conducted over 124 quantitative research studies across various fields of leadership to determine specifically key traits that highlighted or identified what those inherent traits were. And he identified traits like charisma, intelligence, confidence, and etc. When you think of trait leadership today, because it is considered one of the most controversial type of leadership styles, given that the core foundation of it is inherent traits, there are leaders like George Washington, who embodied this concept of trait leadership over time. And when we discuss George Washington, we think of someone who had inherent traits to be the first president of the United States and to achieve all the successful things he achieved in his lifetime. We also think of Oprah Winfrey and all the success she had. Most people describe her as a leader with outstanding traits based on the 1930s and 1940s concept of trait leadership and not the initiating concept of trait leadership. But today, when we think of trait leadership, we also look at different tools that's used to assess leadership styles, such as the DISC, the workplace DISC, the Myers-Briggs, emotional intelligence assessment, and so forth. Today, we use these type of tools to identify certain traits in leaders so that we can effectively communicate with them, work with them collaboratively, and help them to advance the goals of an organization. So, in conclusion, trait leadership is a concept of inherent characteristics or traits, initially the biography of men, only men. But today, this concept of trait leadership has expanded and it is inclusive of women based on specific traits that makes them stand out as leaders.